It's 24/7 feel-good podcast in your ear. You're listening to The Dean Edwards Show, exclusively on the Digital Podcast Network. And now, here's your boy, Dean Edwards.
Yeah, what's poppin'? It's your man, Dean Edwards. Welcome to the first episode of a new podcast, The Dean Edwards Show. And if you listen to this 2 years later, it's not new, so go check out all the other episodes as well. I'm your man, Dean Edwards, and I want to introduce, since this is the first episode, y'all, I want to introduce my co-hosts. I have some wonderful co-hosts, talented in their own right. First, to my right, we have, you recognize her probably from her appearances on Family Matters, Sister, and the movie Life, which was one of my personal favorites. Show some love to Venus DeMilo Thomas.
Hey, I'm in the house. I'm in the house.
How
What's
you
up,
doing?
Dean? How you doing?
I'm chilling, girl. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah,
I'm feeling all right.
You feeling good with them pins in your foot?
Don't be talking about my foot. I still got one good one now.
You got one good one. Venus just recently went to a festival and electric slid a little too hard to the right.
Yes, and electricity got all through me now, and twisted my ankle. You know, but I limped up here. You know,
You did. You said you had to hitchhike to make it back.
I had to hitchhike to make it
to the LA Digital Recording.
But I made it.
You are here.
You know, and you just gotta, if you're having a good time and you get hurt, get back up and have a
Get
good
back
time.
up. You can't. I think the lesson that we all are learning right now is when life throws you lemons, you stand up and you limp away.
And that's what I did.
I think that's how the adage goes.
That's how it goes. I think so. Yeah.
Now, secondly, to your right, another good friend of mine that's going to be a good friend of yours and our wonderful co-host. Now, I personally, I'm enjoying reading down her resume because she's filling them in, man. You may have seen her on Jane the Virgin, NCIS, and Code Black, and is a talented host in her own right. And more than that, because I'm a New Yorker, right? I'm going to put this out there. She was the queen of the National Puerto Rican Day Parade and Miss Latina USA. Her name is Iris Almario. Now here's the thing. The New York in me, because I was on the 6th strain too. I'm from the Bronx originally. BX, stand up, son.
I'm a Queens girl. Let's get that straight.
I'm not going to hold that against you.
All
good. I ain't going to hold that against you. But because she's of Latino heritage and descent, I said, so is it Almario? And she was like, you know what? I can appreciate the tongue roll, but just Al Mario.
I broke it down for you. I said, listen, it's like two guys' names. Al, Mario, put them together, Al Mario.
Boom.
Although I do get a lot of like, yeah, I'll marry you. I'm like,
boom.
Keep it moving.
Right. Do people still say that to you now to this day?
Yeah, I hear it every now and then.
I always because as a man, I have a lot of female friends and always hear the jargon about, from catcalling to guys saying things to sliding DMs and sending Richard pics. And I said, that's clean.
That's so clean.
But Venus, you said when you were a kid that guys, what did they say to you? What did they call you?
What? I gotta tell you what rhymes with Venus. Come
cleanest?
on now.
Venus the cleanest.
But now, that's not what they said. But now it's like, oh, you the Venus in love and beauty. I'm Mars. I'm Jupiter. Like,
oh, you graduated.
Right.
You know, okay. But if I hear one more brother tell me he's Mars, like, you don't even know what you're talking about, man. You know, get out of here.
You know what? And you never, because I've been with my wife for so long, so it's the landscape for dating has changed drastically. But never, like, I'm thinking back, I'm like, when was that ever a good line?
Right?
Like, when did that ever work where he say, hey, girl, you Venus? Well, shoot, I'm Mars. And you're like, oh, yes, please.
Please. Yes, let me have that.
Went, okay, now it's on.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, guys. This is very exciting. Dean, you got a lot of love from a lot of people.
Oh, word?
Yeah, we got a bunch of emails. Let me see. Just to name a few. Tracy Morgan sends his love.
For our first episode?
Let me see,
all
Tracy.
right.
Let me see. Oh, Tracy's like, yo, Dean, what's poppin', Papa? Yo, I see you got your own show. They finally did it. Somebody climbed that mountain to ring the bell. You gonna climb that mountain, ring the bell. Listen, Papa, I'm real happy for you. You doing your things, doing big things. Dean and I go back like spinal cords and 8 tracks.
Oh, wow.
Listen, I love you and I miss you and I want you to do your thing, Pa. Keep doing your thing. All love.
All right.
Oh my God, that was so
I'm
good.
whoever you just tell me who called or who sent the message. And I'm
All right, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of emails. So let me,
Okay.
let's see. Jay-Z also
Let me
sends
see
his
Jay-Z's.
love.
All right.
Yeah.
Yo, Dean, yo, what's poppin'? Yo, it's your boy Young H.O. in the building, baby. Yo, me and B, we're chilling somewhere in the south of France, but I heard you doing big things. Blue Ivy, give them your love. I do it again. That's enough. Yo, Dean, I'm real happy you got your own podcast on the Digital Podcast Network, man. Doing big things. Yo, salute, Brooklyn, stand up, worldwide, represent for my man, Dean Edwards.
Ow!
I love it. I love it.
Well, they keep rolling in. Here's another email from 50 Cent.
Oh.
Oh, 50. Let me say, it's always weird reading 50 stuff because 50 sound like he dozing off while he reading. Yo, Dean, this is Bobby. This is your man, 50 Cent. Yo, I heard you doing your thing out there on the Digital Podcast Network out there in LA. Yo, I'm real proud of you. You know, you got the power now. Give me one more. Let me do
Okay.
one more.
The man, Denzel.
Oh.
Denzel
Yeah,
reached
he reached out.
What'd he
Wishing
say?
you
What'd he
luck on your
say?
first episode. Yeah.
Dean, hey, good, hey. I am super proud of you. You come a long way from Mount Vernon, New York, huh? And yet now you have someone, they done did it. They done gave you your own podcast, The Dean Edwards Show. Well, you know what? You know what I want to say? It's about time, huh? I see big things. May the spirit of the universe guide you, huh? Give you the power. I'm wishing you and Venus and Iris and anybody else behind you to do your thing. You know what? That's enough. This is your boy Denzel Washington, and that's 2-time Oscar winner. Yo, man, that's wonderful. I
Listen,
love
when you
the
get
love.
a blessing
Yes.
like that,
You know.
from all those guys.
I'm just glad Denzel said my name. I know, me too. I might be I'm getting hot over here.
Hey. Well, on that note, since Venus is getting hot, I'm going to sign out. I said your name again. Yo, we're going to go to break, man. It's your man, Dean Edwards, the Dean Edwards Show. We'll be back in a second.
Hey, this is David Haley from the Brothers on Football podcast. If you love NFL football the way I do, and you want to hear expert analysis from a black man's point of view, you have to check out Brothers on Football, exclusively on the Digital Podcast Network.
¿Qué tal, amigos? It's Paloma Rodriguez. So you guys want to hear this Cuban girl speak her mind? Then check out the Latin Dish podcast exclusively on Digital Podcast Network.
Yes. What's up? We're back with the Dean Edwards Show. Welcome back. It's the premiere episode, man. And you know, I forgot to bring this up, but Irish, you said you had a personal special message.
Yes, I have a personal message
Okay.
before I forget. Someone that you know and that loves you.
Okay.
Seth Meyers.
Oh,
Yeah, I ran
Seth.
into him the other day at the Television Academy. I told him, I said, listen, I'm going to be working with Dean Edwards. And I told him about you, Venus.
Seth
and we're
Meyers
doing this.
from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Seth Meyers.
Oh, that's
yeah,
Seth
that's
Meyers.
right.
And from the Late Show with
The
Seth
Late
Meyers.
Show, yeah.
That's
he's
right.
got his
That's
own
right.
Late
Yeah.
Show.
So he was really excited. It sends his love.
Oh,
and,
man.
yeah. So I just
Seth.
want to make sure I give that message
Oh,
to
thank you.
That's
That
so
actually
cool.
that touches. Seth and I, we started our careers in television together. We both became cast members of season 27 Saturday Night Live.
Wow.
That was in 2001. It was myself.
Whoa.
My class was Seth Meyers, Amy Poehler, and Jeff Richards, and myself, obviously. And we started, and our first day of work was supposed to be September 11th, 2001.
I heard. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy because I went to Michael Jackson 30-year anniversary concert at the Garden was on September 10th, 2001. And I remember saying to myself, and as a New Yorker, anytime you went into Manhattan, either specifically across the Brooklyn Bridge from Brooklyn, but also from the Manhattan Bridge. But the Brooklyn Bridge, you really had a clear vision of the Twin Towers. You know, I'm getting goosebumps right now.
Yep.
And anytime you looked, you always knew you were home. You know, if you're coming up 95 north into New York from DC or whatever, you saw the Twin Towers on the horizon, and you were like, I know I'm gonna be home soon. And so went to the MJ concert. everybody from Destiny's Child to Liza Minnelli to Usher, it's just to Whitney, God bless it, Whitney Houston. Everybody was there, and all night I'm saying, yo, I can't wait to meet all my new castmates and writers and everybody, because at least I have a story. You remember like first day of school, you're like, I want to have something to talk to everybody about, right?
Like the whole show and tell bit,
Right, exactly, show and tell, and then I woke up on Tuesday, September 11th, and the world that we knew changed. Forever, and I remember specifically saying to myself, do I still have a job? Does life, what happens now?
Happens after
and so when Kenny Amon, one of Lorne Michaels' lieutenants, the producers on Saturday Night Live, when he called late morning, early afternoon, hey buddy, hey listen, we're not gonna do anything today. We're gonna take a week to regroup. Good. And I was like, but I still had a job, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. And then New York, the country, but specifically New York, went through the healing process.
I was there,
and you were there, and it's weird because that's one of, not to get heavy, but that's one of those moments that everyone remember. You remember where you were, you remember what you were doing. You were in Queens.
I was actually in Spain.
In Spain,
I was a part of a small group of tourists that couldn't get back into the country because there was no flights coming in. And at the time, I've got family that's in enforcement, and my brother was working down in Ground Zero. Wow.
You know what else changed? The media changed. The landscape changed. It's like we went from almost overnight into we needed now kind of a reality television kind of. That's when the
24/7
it's shifted.
Coverage.
Yeah. It's like we went from like that whole sitcom lifestyle. Like it's like those shows that I was on. It's like now it just became reality TV. Everything, and then it was like all this negativity and it's like all that stuff. It just changed overnight.
Right.
Overnight, we stopped viewing television the way we used to.
And that's when SNL became so much more important
and
for
relevant
us because
we had to still have that live TV.
We needed the humor.
We
needed the humor.
That was what I found most interesting as a New Yorker. We all had certain feelings about the current mayor, which was Giuliani at the time, and we still have feelings about Giuliani, right?
Yeah.
But I remember that first episode in the shadow of 9/11. We had Reese Witherspoon. She was just about to become a big star with Legally Blonde, and Alicia Keys. I keep on that was the single of the summer.
Yeah,
and so you had all this incredible energy, and then on that our season premiere episode, which I want to say was September 29th, 2001. We had not only Giuliani on the show, but we also had firemen and police officers, first responders came, and and that open, I'm getting the goosebumps. Yeah, because it was such a powerful image to see all these cats, and then the current mayor Giuliani, who a lot of New Yorkers weren't fans of, on September 10th, 2001.
Yeah.
But on September 11th, everything changed. Oprah declared him America's mayor.
Yeah.
And then Lauren said to him, can we be funny? And Giuliani hit him with why start now? And then it was like a collective sigh of relief nationwide, where we were like, okay, we
can do this. It's okay. It's not inappropriate. It's all right.
Right. And the episode was very evergreen. Like I remember them saying, we don't want to do anything political. We just want to get through this. Seth and I and Jeff Bridges were dressed as fish. But like we did the Little Mermaid spoof because it was safe. It was safe, and we were like, we don't want to offend anybody.
Right.
And I think I did somewhere else, Chris Tucker and Grace Jones. Like so it was
make
a
great Grace Jones.
Let me tell you something. I was trying to holler at Alicia Keys, and all week Ray Chu from Showtime at the Apollo there, Ray Chu and the crew. Ray was her musical director. And I was like, I just want to meet Alicia, because Alicia was delicious.
Alicia.
Yeah, she was Alicia, right? And young and supple. And I was like, and so all week I was like, when do I get to meet Alicia? Right as I'm dressed as Grace Jones in the 6-inch pumps with a big Grace Jones hat and a mini skirt on. I'm standing waiting to go onto stage in Studio 8H. I look to my left and I hear, you better work them heels, boy.
Oh my God.
I was like, I guess we won't be getting married.
Right? Isn't that how it happens?
That's always how it happens, man. But
man.
it was a great moment, and shout out to Seth, man. I appreciate the love. That he sends this way, and now to switch into, because we like to do something on the Dean Edwards Show where we take what's popping in the streets, take what's popping out here, and what people are talking about, man. And I had a question to pose not only to you but to the listening audience, because do we still have favoritism with regards to hue? By that I mean, do we all culturally, you represent the Latino community, we represent the African American community, but collectively we're all human beings.
Right.
And do you all think that we still look at people and judge them based on light skin versus darker skin?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about colorism. We're talking about shadeism.
Yeah.
A lot of people reject their black identity.
Okay.
Light is all right, you know, and it's super important in our community and our daily lives. How do you operate in the world based on the color of your skin? How do you operate in your family based on the color of your skin? I mean, and it could go both ways, and it can go through every single cultural line. I mean, it doesn't matter what race you are.
Right.
There is some sort of backlash due to the shade of your skin.
Let me ask, why do you think that is?
I mean, it was institutionalized a long time ago, so it's like we've got to start to break those chains. I mean, they had the paper bag test.
Right.
Are you lighter? If you lighter, okay, the paper bag you break.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, you break out a paper bag, and if you're lighter than the paper bag, then you can be accepted. Versus if you're darker than a paper bag. I mean, and you even see it now, like women. Try to lighten their skin.
Yeah, people bleach their skin.
Yeah, and they're putting makeup on to make themselves look lighter complected. And during the 60s and 70s, it's like people got a little bit more, I think, black folks, especially in America, started to appreciate their blackness and love their blackness. And I feel like we're getting away from that more and more, as we progress here. But it's like, it's something that, I think about often. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you might talk a certain way, but be a different shade. I mean, and how you're perceived just based on how you look. And you see a lot of these police officers out here doing damage to folks just really based on the shade of their skin, so it's like, it's a lot to think about how you present yourself on a daily basis, because you don't want people to have a misconception about who you are, but you also don't want them to take you for granted, because you are who you are.
As speaking as a black woman specifically, and then also a woman in Hollywood that has to maneuver, do you find yourself having to maintain a certain dichotomy where you have to walk this fine line? I mean,
because Black Venus can't show up to work every day. Right. I gotta be professional. I can't just go in there and just be like, just be myself and talk how I talk. Right. Even right now, it's like I've gotta have some composure here. Right. Okay. It's like you gotta walk that fine line. Yeah. I mean, and then you have those times where I go in an audition. It's like, oh, can you just do her a little bit blacker? She's from the hood. But it's like I'm an intelligent black woman. Yeah, I can walk both worlds. And I think that's the thing, is to be able to do both. Right. And to know what's appropriate and when it's appropriate.
You gotta have your home voice.
Yeah.
And then your business voice.
Right. You can take it to the streets when you need to. Right. But you need to be able to also make some money out there and treat people right. So
I can identify with that 100%. Yeah. I mean, being Latina and a light-skinned Latina, my family is a rainbow. Right? Because my grandmother on my mother's side, from Spain, fair skin, light eyes. My grandfather, her husband, dark skin, Puerto Rico, Taino Indian.
Wow. Okay.
So we've got it. But, being Latina, it's interesting because I see the difference when someone is darker skinned in the family or just out there in the world. They're just treated like they're not as educated, not as cultured, not as worldly, not as experienced. And it's unfortunate. And for me, I went to a private school in the city where it was basically, I don't know, maybe 96% Jewish. And then the rest was just, minorities. And I think there was
I went to that school. No.
I actually did too. I went to an elementary school that was predominantly Jewish, and I didn't have that exposure to other cultures which was crazy. And my parents were like, we need to get you in a school with some other colors so you can know who you are,
Well, the thing is, I lived in Queens, and the private school was in Manhattan. So I had the best of both worlds, right? Yeah. And so...
Because where you lived in Queens was predominantly...
Colombian.
Right, okay.
It was predominantly Colombian.
And you're half Colombian, yeah?
My dad's Colombian, my mother's Puerto Rican.
Okay.
And so, but going to Dalton, this private school on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, there were no Latinos up there unless they were working in maintenance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when I would go home to Queens, my nickname was white girl, wannabe white girl.
Yeah.
So I wasn't accepted by them. And then when I would go to Manhattan to my school, they were like, well, she's different. She's not like us. She's not blonde. You know, and I'm like, so where did I fit in?
How did you maneuver as a kid? How did you, because that's, you don't really, it's like nowadays kids have therapy, even children of color have therapy, right? But back in the days, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Charisma, who's dark? Who's a dark skinned artist now? Yeah, that's Alicia versus I don't know who's a dark skin. Yeah, but I okay, all right, okay, light skin, dark skin.
I'll tell you something. I went that way because the other Latina at Dalton was dark skin, and I was treated differently. Because I'm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But we'll go to that.
Okay.
So let me ask you. Oh, okay. So do you both would you agree or disagree that a light-skinned entertainer, light-skinned that word's always funny to me. Do you think that say back in the days El DeBarge got more attention than a Johnny Gill?
Definitely.
Or even say Alicia Keys got more attention, more mainstream attention than Mary J. Blige, who's been out longer.
They get that crossover.
I
get that
agree.
Crossover.
They do get the crossover. Yeah.
But look at Lil Nas X. He's out there with that old country. He's got the #1 song in the world.
Right.
Billboard won't give him a country. Nod.
Right,
They're saying it's not even a country song, but then they gonna let Bieber get the R&B.
Right.
So is Bieber light skinned now? I'm confused. Tell me what
That's that blue-eyed soul.
Exactly, but I mean, is it?
Right.
It's like we're talking light skin, dark skin
here.
here.
Same thing with Latinos. I mean, for the Latinos that are tuning in, Paulina Rubio, a singer from Mexico, blonde hair, and a lot of times they dye their hair blonde, right? Just to be accepted into the mainstream market, and they can do the crossover.
Right.
So yeah.
So it seems like it's almost unfortunately, it becomes a business choice. There's like if you look at the landscape of a lot of not even just actresses but also social media personalities, I've noticed in the last 5 years there's sort of this ethnically ambiguous look where everyone has the same golden hued skin, right? With the same, sort of auburn colored hair.
Right.
And so you look at them, you're like, okay, is he or she Egyptian?
Right. I can't tell what you are.
Black, biracial.
But you're safe. Because I can't tell what you are.
Right.
That's
you're going to appeal to the masses.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I get a breakdown from an acting audition or whatever, and it says ethnically ambiguous.
Right.
Wow.
It's big. Oh, yes.
And see, for me, that ain't never gonna happen, right? Because I was a kid when I was coming up. I remember a girl every day I went to school. She would wait outside and say, "Damn, why you so black, crazy monkey?" Because back in the days, back in the days we didn't have a Vino lotion. We just had a vat of some petroleum jelly. It wasn't even Vaseline. It was petroleum jelly. Sounded like gasoline. Like, why? And your mother would grease you up. I'm looking like patent leather.
Right.
Walking to school every day. And this girl, hold up. And the girl that said it to me, she was blacker than me.
Right.
She was blacker than me, and I was like, well, why is she?
Right.
We're both black, but that's something that I guess we dealt with it back in the days. We're still dealing with it
now.
And hopefully we find a way past it, man. I want to also say this, before we wrap up. These sound like heavy topics, but that's the beauty of the Dean Edwards Show, man, is we're here to talk about it. We want to have the conversation, and the beauty regardless of your hue, is that if you see someone of a darker hue, of a lighter hue, have that conversation with them because the healing process begins with having a conversation and talking as opposed to just getting your point across. So this is a place, this is a safe space. The Dean Edwards Show is a safe space to talk about things, and we're going to talk about things that get heavy sometimes, but we also going to make sure we hit y'all with some comedy, son. If all else fails, Tracy Morgan going to be right here with Dean to make sure we lighten the mood. All right, Papa? And he ain't going to get you pregnant. So listen, I got my ladies here, my crew, the Venus, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
Iris, thanks for hanging out.
That was fun.
This is the Dean Edwards Show, man. Y'all keep tuning in to the Digital Podcast Network, and we're going to hit you in the head with another episode, all right? All love, remember that. All love. Say it with me. All love. 1, 2, 3. All love. The Dean Edwards Show. Peace.